Welcome, everyone. It is Sunday, March 17th, 2024, St. Patrick's Day, and hope you're having a good day. This is the Morgellons Call of the Week. I am Robin, the co-host, and it is such a pleasure to be here with you guys today. You know, as we are all aware, Morgellons is a very isolating, challenging disease because people don't think it's real, people don't understand it, and you know, it is contagious, so you're always worried about infecting someone else. And doctors are pretty much no help. There are a few isolated cases where they actually do help, but that's the exception, not the rule. So, you know, Richard Kuhns has written 13 editions of his book. He has been in the trenches. He has experienced this stuff and come out the other side. He has discovered the King diet, which, for whatever reason, quiets the parasites in your body. He has come up with disinfection solutions for laundry, for your house, for your car, for your stuff. It's just, you know, it's all encompassing. And I don't know if there's any other place where you can find this kind of help, solution, support, and community, because this is a community, and we're so grateful that it exists. I'm so grateful that it exists, and I'm so grateful for Richard and the concern and care he gives. He's here every week to answer questions. He's always researching. He answers emails when he can find them. And so at this time, I would like to welcome and introduce Richard Kuhns, author of How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons, Other Skin Parasites, Lyme Disease. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you, Robin. St. Patty's Day. I see you got green on. I could only find striped green. So this is our St. Patty's Day video. And I'd like to start off by giving my condolences to one of our members, Jan, whose husband passed away recently. And so sad to hear that. You know, it was for a short stay in the hospital, as I understand. So I don't know all the particulars. I don't believe it was Morgellons related at all. So let's not jump to those kind of conclusions. Anyway, the topic of the day is, what is Morgellons? It is real, but what is it? Is it a virus? Is it bacterium? Fungus? A nematode? What the heck is it? Well, there are many people who have offered their opinions and beliefs. For instance, for the last several years, the Charles Holman Association and those associated with it doing research and so forth have kind of going down the path of Lyme disease. And the physicians associated with the organization, when you go to them, generally treat it as Lyme disease. In fact, it was interesting. I was one of our participants emailed me this morning with a link to a YouTube video. It was a podcast. I forget the name of the young gal that was conducting the interview. He interviewed a gentleman out on the West Coast who came to find out he had Morgellons, and he found that near him was a doctor that was familiar with Morgellons, and she diagnosed him with Morgellons. well, I'm not really sure if she diagnosed him. I don't think Morgellons is something that is accepted by the ICD-9 codes as an organic disease. But nevertheless, she was very familiar with it. Then they began a round of antibiotics, and as I understand it, the approach was intravenous antibiotics. I believe I recall 3 times a day you're sitting in this doctor's office getting IV antibiotics for God knows, I don't know how long that was. Well, the end result is he felt he got worse during the treatment and didn't get better. Ultimately, he left and went on, and I didn't follow the entire video, but his whole thing is kind of like coming to peace with the fact that he's got it and dealing with it and dealing with the mental stresses of which we all are familiar with, and we also deal with that every day. Point being, it ain't Lyme disease. Now, yes, it's true that the research they published find of the pilot studies, which, pilot studies like 12 people, maybe 10 out of 12 have Lyme disease, but not the other 2. Okay, so Lyme disease can be part of it. And they find the spirochetes on the filaments and fibers, but that doesn't mean it is Lyme disease, because not all of them have Lyme disease. So anyway, then there are people who speculate, that it's fungal. And it's fungal in, I don't know. Gosh, do you think? I mean, we've been doing this for, 3 years now, these weekly calls, Robin?
Yeah, at least.
Have we ever found any evidence that, or anything that said that Lyme disease, that Morgellons is fungal, is a fungal organism? No. No. Well, there's actually a website that says Morgellons is a concrete-eating organism. Yeah, really. Well, what the heck would that be? So, but let's not discount this thing, because over the years, and I'm talking about over 20 years, I've been communicating with people. So I've heard just about everything that... And there are people that have written me and told me that these organisms, now they're assuming it's Morgellons, but these organisms, yes, they do have filaments and fibers growing from their body, which characterizes them as Morgellons. And these organisms eat wood, eat ceramic, eat through tin. And for a while, at least the first couple of people that wrote me, I thought, Morgellons can affect us in the head too, and hallucinations and vivid imagination, and maybe they think, but not really. And of course, they report that they find the organism inside the can, inside the food in the refrigerator. So after I got maybe a half a dozen of these reports, I started, I'm not going to discount this. And as time went on, I did happen upon an explanation that apparently there are some organisms, not Morgellons, but organisms that people that tend to be around when people have Morgellons that emit, whether it's an enzyme or an acid, I don't know, but it's capable of eating through concrete, cans, and whatever. And that's kind of a weird type of organism. How do you deal with that kind of organism? That's difficult because that's important to deal with. You need to get rid of the organisms that are the carriers or vectors that may have brought Morgellons into your life. So fortunately, we have our prior greeter, Mary, who may be on the call today, I'm not sure, she may be here, shared with us ways of setting traps. Traps in your refrigerator, traps in your bathroom, traps outside or whatever, to attract organisms, these organisms plus any other organisms that may be infectious, so that they get destroyed. So that was really a godsend to find a solution. And you can also rub red cedar oil onto the surfaces that they tend to penetrate. That will work as well. Well, maybe 3 years ago, I got an email from someone that said, lufenuron cured me of Morgellons. All right, we already said it's not, Morgellons is not fungal, and lufenuron is a medication that you use to inhibit the production of chitin, which inhibits the ability of fungal organisms to multiply. And here she's saying lufenuron cured her of Morgellons? Huh. Well, of course, she's also using a diet, but that kind of registered. So we have the Charles Holman Association saying it's Lyme disease. We have this person saying fungus, and then, gosh, from time to time, I get an email like this. Somebody says, this is one of the, let me find it here. Sorry, I thought I had it up here. Here we go.
While you're looking, I just want to say, chitin isn't just the ectoskeleton of fungal organisms. It also affects other organisms as well.
Yes, it does.
And I think that's one of the reasons it's used in a treatment for Morgellons.
And when you go to the website, to YouTube, you'll find people that claim that what cured them of Morgellons was supersaturated potassium iodide. And if you look up what that's used for, that's pyretosis, rose gardener's disease. So here we got people, Lyme disease, pyretosis, fungal, and they all claim that by getting rid of that, they get cured. Then I had someone write and tell me, what is this? How do you pronounce it? All of these people are writing me and to inform me that they've figured out what Morgellons is, and that well, of course it is for them. One guy writes me, to educate me and says, my doctor diagnosed me as nocardosis, and Morgellons went away. He treated me for that. Morgellons went away. Well, I looked up nocardosis. It's a bacterial infection causing ulceration of the skin and nodules. Wow. I always thought these nodules that we got were Purgio nodularis, and they could be, but it could also be, and I'd say about maybe 40–50% of the people report when they fill out the questionnaire that they have nodules. So this could be a very popular issue that doctors really don't look to diagnose or find. And one lady wrote me and said, well, my doctor found Manasella perstans. And my Morgellons treated me. My Morgellons went away. Well, that happens to be a rather rare organism. It's a vector-borne filarial nematode transmitted by tiny blood-sucking flies called midges. So she may have somehow got exposed to these midges. They transferred this disease to her. And so for her, Morgellons was manifest, and suggesting that, well, maybe everybody's got this. Well, then I began to think, and I realized this even before I got these emails, is that, well, Morgellons is none of these things. In fact, many of these things, Lyme disease, many years ago, one guy claimed that he swore that Morgellons was misnamed and it actually is strongyloides. And he went to war. This is like about 20 years ago. I don't know what happened to him, but he was going around everywhere claiming Morgellons doesn't exist. Everybody's got strongyloides. Well, I had a dose of that myself, and it was rather interesting. So everybody looks at it. You see, Lyme disease, strongyloides, fungal issues, many of these things can be in your body and be dormant. The other question, the interviewer this morning that was interviewing this fellow had asked him if he had any health problems prior to contracting Morgellons, any active health problems. And he said no. And that's completely understandable, is that these organisms, these health concerns can be dormant for many, many years. And along comes Morgellons and bang, boom, you got a big problem. I've asked one of our coaches, Diane. Diane, are you on? Diane?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi,
I'm
Diane.
here.
Okay, I'd ask you to simply go down the list. Some of these we've already talked about, but I'd just like you to read the list that I published. This was all sent out this morning, so this is something that is available to each and every one of you. You can go and you can read it and you can study it. Okay, let's start with number one there. The first one. We already talked about it.
Okay, I'm going to have to log back in and pull my email up. I didn't know you wanted me to. Okay, I've got it ready now.
Okay.
Lyme disease.
Yes, Lyme disease. We talked about that earlier. And like I said, the Charles Holman Association, they're kind of like bent 100% on some kind of spirochete, which is what Lyme disease is, and they focus on that. And even their own research. They have a study, it's published in my book, and they did 12 people for Lyme disease and Morgellons. 2 people out of 12 had Morgellons. And they were on antibiotic treatment. And out of the 12, only 1 got long-term results. Everybody else, symptoms came back, or the symptoms had never really improved that much. So, well, that doesn't get rid of, that basically says that that these prescription antibiotics don't work for Lyme disease, which is another whole, I have like a whole series of updates about the dangers of using prescription antibiotics. So what's the next one there?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to give you some trivia there. Alec Baldwin actually came out publicly way before he got in all this lawsuit trouble, but that's exactly what he said, was he still had symptoms from Lyme disease, and he has never been able to recover from it.
Yeah.
So there you go, Hollywood celebrity. Okay, the second one is some experts claim syphilis is involved.
Yeah, well, I should change that. One guy claims syphilis is involved, and he's doing a lot of videos with these people at the Morgellons Association. It's a small percent, but it's spirochete, and it is not syphilis, and yes, syphilis can be a problem, and it seems to be a recurrence coming in the country now. People have gotten less educated about it, and it's being less treated, and it's becoming more prevalent than it was. But yeah, it's not syphilis. Although syphilis can be the cofactor. What's the next one?
I'm wondering too if you're more susceptible to it. Anyhow, Dr. Bransfield claims chlamydia.
Yes, Dr. Bransfield. Yeah, not the sexual version. And he's actually one of my doctors. I had seen him about 18 years ago, went through the round of prescription antibiotics, Zithromax, Biaxin, Bactrim. I don't know if they still use the same ones. They may have found what they thought were more effective ones. And after I got done treatment with him, about 6 or 8 months later, Lyme disease just about destroyed my life. So anyway, but yeah, they found he finds that chlamydia is associated. What's the next one?
Fungal issues.
Yes, and that's what we talked about a little bit earlier. Candida albicans, blastomycosis. There are dozens and dozens of different fungal organisms, and it is not any of them, although they can be in your body and be dormant for many years. I mean, you can have Candida albicans for years and years, and then all of a sudden it becomes an issue. And next.
100%, according to Dr. Davidson, parasitologists in New Jersey, have intestinal parasites that input round, flat, and tapeworms.
Right. In fact, I spoke with a doctor, a physician in Europe about maybe 6-7 years ago, and he thought and believed that Morgellons was helminths. Helminths, this is what helminths are. Tapeworms, flatworms, roundworms, hookworms. He found them in basically all of his patients that he was working with, and he thought they were. And absolutely, you can live with these organisms in your body for decades and be minimally affected by them, if anything at all. And then all of a sudden, boom, big problem. Big problem. Okay, let's go on.
Next one's leaky gut syndrome.
I would guess that about 30% of us are dealing with leaky gut at some point in our life. Maybe not today, but maybe 10 years ago you had it, and somehow your intestines got in better shape and you get built better gut biome. But when you had it, whatever you had in your intestines got loose and into your bloodstream. And that's where the intestinal parasites that we just talked about get away from the intestines and into your joints and even into your skin, inflammation. So they can be there too, minimally causing a problem, and along comes the Morgellons, and we got a big problem. What else do we have?
Candida albicans.
Candida albicans. Everybody knows what this is, except some doctors don't yet. It's a fungal organism that, according to Dr. Luna, is in balance in your gut and is not a dangerous organism, except if you go nuts with your diet and eat lots of sweets, and then it gets overpopulated, and then it becomes, you can get urinary infections from it and all kinds of problems and distension in the abdomen and so forth, and irritable digestion, if any at all. But what's worse is that if you ever had or have leaky gut, it got through the intestinal lining into the super blood highway of your body, carried into every organ of your body, where it can take up shop and be converted to a more dangerous form of Candida, which is where the danger comes. Well, the good news it becomes a dangerous a hydra tentacle fungal organism. And of course, it is not the friendly candida that was there originally, but a far more dangerous form of an organism. And if you read chapter 4 of my book, there's probably 5 pages of the dangers of this happening and the stages that can eventually lead to your death. It can be that severe. Fortunately, lufenuron and some of our supplements tackle this stuff and disarm it, and life can go on. So there we go. Now, what's the next one, Diane?
Okay, the next one is slime mold for a small percentage, usually from backed up sewers.
This is something I heard more of years ago. I don't know if it's some kind of cyclical kind of thing, but we often talk about sick houses. And many people, they might actually move into a brand new house. And the house, maybe there's a problem outside with the drainage, and it accumulates and mold in the basement, or they have a backed up sewer system, and the sewage is not gotten rid of in the house, and the house becomes sick, and you get slime mold. And slime mold has, in many of the references that you read about Morgellons, it'll be talking about slime mold being the cause of Morgellons. And people, I remember reading about even in residential areas of the country where they don't have water from the city, but they have tanks in which they store the water from the well or whatever, and they're becoming slimy, and they're taking measurements and finding their slime mold there, and the people being sick with it. So yes, that can definitely be an issue. And of course, slime mold is fungal. Okay, what's next?
Moldy environment, about 20%.
Yeah, a lot of people live in moldy environments. It's just an unhealthy place to live, and that is often a definition of a sick house. But in any event, if you're living in a moldy environment, according to Dr. Luna, you want to be taking lufenuron all the time to counteract the effect of breathing this stuff in. And of course, you may actually have, may be important. Yeah, go to the doctor and also get their test, because you may need some medical treatment as well. So moldy environment, again, you can be living in this moldy environment for maybe 10, 15 years, and a long time with Morgellons, and boom, then it becomes a big problem. Big problem. So, okay, what's the next one?
Some believe Morgellons is an insect of some type. It is not. Morgellons can parasitize insects, but it is not an insect.
That is right. And we discussed this earlier. We talked about organisms that eat wood, concrete, and ceramics, metal, and so forth. And that's the interesting thing about Morgellons, is that you can get bitten by some organism carrying Morgellons, and from what I understand and what I read, then it's sort of like a mosquito biting you. It then gets into your blood system, and this thing that ever bit you somehow replicates in your body, but it doesn't replicate as, like, for instance, one lady sent me a picture of how many legs do spiders have? 8. She sent me a picture of a spider with 16 legs that came from her body. So this is not normal. The Morgellons seems to be able to manipulate not only your DNA, but the DNA of these different organisms, so that when they come out of your body, they are different. But they are not Morgellons. They're just parasitized organisms that take up residence in your body and breed under your skin. Not everybody has them. What's next?
Some believe Morgellons is an organism that can eat wood, concrete, ceramics, metal, and so on, as reported on one website.
Right, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. And go on, what is the next one?
A small percentage are dealing with
Myiasis. Yeah, these are midges. These are little tiny flies, and they can bite and lay eggs in your scalp and multiply there and then come out of your skin, just like we were talking about earlier, like the 16-legged spider. These are, instead, they come out as little flies or little midges. And I remember, and I don't know if it was a midge, but I remember when I was in the early parts of my dealing with it, I was wearing this winter coat, and I opened up my coat, and this bug flew out from my, So, anyway, then continue. What's the next one?
I can believe that. Others are dealing with filariasis.
I can't pronounce these things either. Filariasis. It's a tropical disease caused by the presence of a filarial worm. And a few people visiting another area of the world, some ancient ruin someplace or whatever, and some dust or bird or something, and yes, they're going to bring it home. And again, these things can be dormant for a period of time. I'm assuming, I don't know exactly, but I would think that this could be dormant, and then along comes Morgellons, and bang. Or the infected organism could be a carrier of Morgellons, and it starts right as soon as you're infected by it. What's the next one?
One lady found that she had Menthol persistens, a vector-borne human filarial nematode, transmitted by tiny blood-sucking flies called midges.
Yes, and as I mentioned earlier, she wrote me to inform me that, she got rid of her Morgellons. She was diagnosed with this disease, treated, and it was over. Her Morgellons is gone. And you missed the one up above that about the heavy metal.
I was just going to go back to it. I just highlighted it. Yeah, heavy metal toxicity is an issue with about 90% or more.
Yes, there was Dr. Ammon. He's listed in the book. Initially, he was of the belief that the heavy metal toxicity contributed to or caused Morgellons. And while heavy metal toxicity is a problem, and of course his big deal was about go get rid of your amalgam fillings. Spend $10,000 and get rid of your amalgam fillings. And after people do that, they still don't experience any freedom from Morgellons anyway. So our counter effect of that, the good news about my protocol is that many of these issues, not all of them, but most of them are handled with the protocol that I have. And how do you deal with heavy metal toxicity? What do you do? Robin, what do you do? How do you get rid of heavy metal toxicity? What part of our protocol? This is a test.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember.
Glutathione.
I just thought some Zolite.
Yeah, zeolite will do it, right?
No, glutathione. Boost your glutathione, and it will get rid of all your heavy metal toxicity. Zeolite is used for the Hertzheimer reaction, when you have all this poison and toxicity. So if you have heavy metal toxicity and you boost your glutathione significantly, it's going to get rid of all this metal toxicity, and you may have a detox reaction, in which case you might want to use zeolite to minimize that detox reaction. Then, what do we have next there?
Then there is the protozoan like Babesia that complicates Lyme disease.
Absolutely. Just about most of the people dealing with Lyme disease are also dealing with this protozoan, Babesia, that is important to be gotten rid of. And again, our Garcillin does a long way to deal with that. Our Garcillin is tremendously beneficial when it comes for Lyme disease. Now, I need to point out before I get slapped, and that is the FDA requires me to tell everybody on this call that before you accept any of my recommendations, before you start my diet, before you accept any recommendations whatsoever, you are to discuss them thoroughly with your doctor to make sure they do not interfere with any health problems you're experiencing. The AMA requires me to inform everybody that I'm not a medical doctor, and none of my coaches are, neither Robin, Sharon, Diane, or any of our coaches, Sherry. Before you accept any of our recommendations, we are not here to diagnose. We're not doctors. We don't treat, cure, mitigate, or prevent any disease. Our goal is simply to educate, and that's what we're here to do. Okay, what's next?
Amoebas that can complicate things can be life-threatening. Entomobia histolytica or histolytica.
Yeah, these are single-celled organisms. I believe that's correct, and they could be picked up in swimming water, in the rivers, or any place like that, and I'm sure many other places, and they can be complicating the organism. What's next?
Bartonella, a bacteria that live primarily inside the lining of the blood vessels, often associated with Lyme disease.
There you have it. Lyme disease is really a biggie. It's got Bartonella and what we just talked about a little bit earlier, that other one. So all of these are factors, cofactors. What's next? Sporotriosicus, yeah. Rose gardener's disease, the easy way to call it. Again, it's a fungus. People reported to me, they fell into a rose bush and then they got Morgellons. So, okay, so there are a few that have it, and if you go online, the YouTube, they generally treat this with the potassium iodide that we have. That's how it's dealt with. What's next?
Dermatitis herpetiformis that affects 1 in 5 of celiac disease.
Celiac disease. Yeah, it's easily mistaken for a skin mite infection and treated with dapsone. What's next?
Yes. Rare bacterial infestation of skin causing enlargement of affected areas, treated by metronidazole gel. And
the diagnosis is unknown. What's next?
Yeah. Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Staphylococcus aureus, Citrobacter costuria, are common forms of bacterial infections that are often harmless.
Yes, they generally are in the environment, pseudomonas, and they just generally are around there. But along comes Morgellons disease, and boom, they can be a huge factor and need to be treated and dealt with. And the next one.
Virus, CMV. That's for the skin, eyes, lungs, liver, esophagus, stomach, intestines, and brain.
And again, it's a common virus, typically in your body, in all of our bodies, but much like, what is this? Okay, well, it's generally not active. And it remains dormant until after the initial infection. And along comes Morgellons and becomes a problem.
Next, it's schistosomiosis.
Caused by parasitic flatworms with a life cycle in certain species of snails.
Yeah.
And what's next?
Tapeworms.
Right. And what's next?
cellulitis.
Swollen, painful skin from streptococcus or staphylococcus. And the next one.
Nocardosis.
Right, and that's the one the fellow wrote me and said, hey, that's what the Morgellons is. My doctor identified it, treated me for it, and away went my Morgellons. And then that's how I learned about, I suspect many people have this because they always report these nodules that they have. And of course, our skin lotions and creams and soaps basically, clean it out. And so it's generally not a big problem for us. But if you don't deal with it or have the right stuff to clean it, it can be a big issue. And then the last one.
Thorny-headed worm.
And I only know of one person who has this, and she's still suffering from it, and I have no idea. There's no known cure, and haven't been able to find it. It's unfortunate. So we do have our protocol covers many of these organisms and cleaning them out of your body, but not all of them. But the idea is that Morgellons is, as I've always said, not a big deal to deal with. At least I've said it within the last year or two. And that is because if you look at all the pieces on a chessboard, the king is the most important, but not the most powerful. And the king is like Morgellons. But the queen is defending him, the bishops, the rook, the pawns, and all these other pieces are defending him. And those pieces are the viruses and the Bartonella and the Lyme disease and the myiasis and these other factors that we're talking about here, the slime mold and Candida albicans, and that's what the rest of the chessboard is. And when you knock them off, the king falls. He's gone. But as long as they're active and fighting, you have a hard time getting rid of that king. He's hiding behind all of his entire army. From the questionnaires that I receive, I'd suspect that of the 90% of the people are dealing with Morgellons. They report finding filaments and fibers coming from their skin or accumulations of lint-like or dust-like, lint-like or cotton-like substance in their clothing and bedding. And according to Dr. Saverly, that's an indication of Morgellons disease. At least 90% of the people that fill out the questionnaire are dealing with Collembola as well. So you see, we have not more. You don't usually just get one of these things. You get a hodgepodge. 90% are dealing with mites. So that means people with Morgellons are likely to be dealing with Collembola and also mites at the same time. 70% are dealing with skin fungus. Okay, look, that means 50% have itchy bumps or nodules. So most people that have Morgellons are dealing with at least 4 or 5 other cofactors as well. Biofilm. Many have biofilm. And a small percent are dealing with strongyloides as one of the organisms I dealt with very on in my history. All right. Robin, you have anything to add?
Those were a lot of big words.
Right, very, very technical. I hope, I hope people read it. Diane, you have anything to add?
I agree. Those were a lot. It was a struggle getting through those, but I appreciate the compilation of it because this is an email you want to save. The whole time I'm reading through it, I don't know if it's psychosomatic or not, but I'm going, yep, got that, yep, got that, yep, got that, So this is compile it. It helps, because it takes you forever to go through all that research.
And just within the last month, I had one guy write in and said that he has I can't pronounce half of this stuff, oncholerosis, which is river blindness, and along with Morgellons. So there are so many cofactors, and of course he's going to make no progress with Morgellons until that river disease that is gone and gotten rid of. So okay.
Yeah. I was going to say, My doctor, I've been diagnosed with something called Fuchs disease. And they show you, in optometry, how they show you the back of your eyeball. And they pointed to this one, said, there's a floater. And I was like, that's a little black thread. That looks like Morgellons, Yeah.
Yeah.
And they call it FUCH, Fuchs disease.
I have to look that one up.
Yeah, I do want to say the one thing, Richard. I mean, the thing, even if you can't follow all the big names, the thing that's amazing is how many cofactors there are, and the fact that we have ways to deal with them or point people in the right direction about them.
Yes, and the sad thing is that many people who are really delving into Morgellons disease get pigeonholed into thinking it's only one or two of these things, and are not open to the fact that, there was a video that of Marianne Middleveen that Jeremy Mumphrey had interviewed her, and the interview went for about an hour and 15 minutes, I'm guessing. I listened to every word that was said in all that time, because the title of the video is Morgellons has nothing to do with fungus. And all of her interview, she was talking about the filaments, the fibers, why they're different than normal hairs, how they test them, the staining they do, to look at them under the microscope, the kinds of microscopes they use, and how they're finding the spirochetes. And so in the middle of the interview, he asked her, have you found any fungal connection with Morgellons? And she said, well, I wasn't looking for any. I don't know of any. And, and out of that 1 minute, he titled the whole video, Morgellons has nothing to do with fungal organisms, when this researcher wasn't even looking for fungal organisms, wasn't even contemplating fungus as being a part of studying these filaments and fibers. It's amazing. So they get pigeonholed into thinking it's a concrete-eating organism, or it's a Strongyloides, or something else. Sharon, you have anything to add?
Yes,
I do.
Hi, Richard. I wanted to add that. So we have all the supplements and everything to beat this thing in the toolbox. You have to remember, unless you are doing and making the King diet work, none of the supplements, none of the knowledge you make or take in will result in anything until you do the King diet and make it work for you.
That is absolutely right. In fact, this week I got an email from someone, Terry. I'm not going to say his last name. I invited him to join our program today. I don't know if he's here, but he said, I'm not so sure, just in it for the money, your products don't work. He didn't tell me that, I tried the diet, I couldn't get the diet to work, I've been in your program, I don't know, he didn't tell me anything. Your products don't work. Of course they're not going to work. You got to work the program. It's an all-encompassing program. You just don't pick and choose what you want. I had another lady writing me saying, oh, I've been on lufenuron and Timparam. They said it was going to cure me, and they don't work, and I still have it. I still have Morgellons. And I looked up her, I can track things. So I looked her up, and she has only opened emails about lufenuron, ivermectin. She has never opened any other email except the ones about those medications. So don't pick and choose. Send in your questionnaire. It was attached to this email. I'll complete it. I'll give you an evaluation and education as to what organisms you're dealing with. And then I'll give you a detailed set of recommendations. And you don't have to buy anything. Make the diet work. You know, it will be incredible, because no matter what the parasite is, all parasites respond to dopamine. And when you reduce dopamine uptake in the brain, and that's apparently what the diet does somehow, it, you know, the activity of them becomes less and less. Mary, are you with us today? Mary is our greeter for a couple of years.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, you have anything to add? How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I guess what I would add is there's lots of diagnoses and there's lots of cofactors, but there's really the main solution is the diet. And it doesn't matter whether you know what you have or not. It's getting the diet right and getting, if that doesn't work completely, then getting the right supplements from you.
Exactly. And along the same lines, it would be really nice if we went to a doctor, instead of the doctor looking at us and calling us delusional, that he would test us and find out what cofactors we're actually dealing with. They don't take stool samples. They don't take blood samples and generally and look for strongyloides. They don't even ask you questions that might indicate you're dealing with strongyloides. You know, it's kind of like a pig in a poke. You just hope you get the doctor that has some kind of experience that might lead to a diagnosis of the cofactor that you're dealing with, so you can deal with it. And then hope they don't put you on long-term prescription antibiotics. And I can't be criticized for this, saying long-term prescription antibiotics are not a good idea, because go to the CDC, look at whether long-term antibiotics are reasonable or effective, or if they are recommended. Even the CDC says no. Long-term antibiotics can destroy your gut, can destroy your epithelial cells, and there are epithelial cells in your gut, can destroy your gut to the point you can't digest food. So, okay, well, that concludes this portion of the program.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. It is Sunday, March 17th, 2024, St. Patrick's Day. It's really cold here in Western Mass. And we have just finished a very interesting topic on cofactors and Morgellons. And we are now opening up the lines for questions and answers.
Thank you. I'm Richard Kuhns, author of How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons, Chronic Lyme, and Other Skin Parasites. And we're going into the Q&A period. In the first portion of the program, I did do the FDA and the AMA disclosure, so I'm not going to repeat that, as this is all going to be one long video anyway. You know, Morgellons affects us in many different ways, and one of them, I'm going to read you this email I got, and you tell me how it's affected this lady. I'm not going to use her name because her first name is so, well, it could be, there are very few people with this name. Anyway, everything you send us is feeding bioweapon parasites, and we are being killed softly by all your products. You connected to the system, the CIA, who owns Amazon as well. And they are the ones who is dropping their terroristic diseases and mind controlling and killing us. And all your products are the system and the matrix of death. You are a sell out to the mark of the beast. Retire ASAP or tell the truth, or you will feel the truth through our wrath. Stop the killing, sell out. Your products is the matrix.
Wow. Whoa, so many crazy people in this world.
Well, there's a thing called bipolar, there's paranoia, there are all kinds of different ways that Morgellons can impact us. Unfortunately, I'm not equipped and never, could be equipped to deal or work with this person, because, this takes a psychiatrist, a psychologist, maybe both of them. actually takes her being on the diet and getting her life back, and then maybe. But anyway, okay. So questions, Chris? You got anybody that has a question?
Nick.
Hey, Nick, how you doing? Nick is one of our coaches.
How you doing, Rich?
Okay.
How you doing? For some reason, I developed a kidney infection. I'm off all the supplements. I'm doing the diet, but for some reason, they found out I'm anemic. For some reason, with that problem, don't ask me, the Morgellons got a lot better. I don't know why that is. I'm not going to ask why, but I'm almost pretty much, I think, getting things got a lot better, unfortunately, but when you talk about that fly coming out of your coat, I experienced that as well. I seen it outside the other day when I was sitting outside in the chair. So it's in the air, like you said, but I feel real tired from what I'm going through and stuff like that, and I have to follow up with my physician constantly what I'm going through. But other than that, people that make those crazy statements that when you talk about what you just talked about before, some guy on YouTube said he pulled a memory chip out of his arm. And I commented and said he needs a psychiatrist at that point. Unfortunately, we're tied in with the crazy people with this disease. It's sad, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, it affects us. It affects some people in weird ways. And, Dr. Bransfield, who I mentioned in part 1, is actually a psychiatrist. And he lives only, his office is only a few miles from where I live. And he deals with the bipolar aspects that happens, the paranoia that people end up with because of Morgellons. That's his specialty. So it's not so uncommon, unfortunately. Okay, thank you, Nick. Who's next, Chris?
Cynthia.
Hi, Cynthia.
4727.
Oh, hi. Have you heard anything about heat treatment?
Heat treatment?
Yeah.
Well, there is a clinic in Europe that you can go there and they will raise your body temperature to about 107 degrees for a period of time under medical supervision that they claim gets rid of Lyme disease. And whether it would affect Morgellons, I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Aside from that, that's all I know. Okay. Cynthia, are you the Cynthia that sent me that email this morning with the YouTube?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay.
Tried to contact you 6 months ago.
Okay, thank you. Okay, who's next?
Barbara, 9529.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Richard. I sent you an email today as well, just in case we didn't get to chat. But my question is, can you ever be completely cured of Collembola? I've had it twice.
No.
Okay.
Because you're always susceptible to them. Now, I've been free of these organisms for years, and I also have another business, contracting, and I was at a customer's house about maybe a month ago, and just walking outside, 24 hours later, I noticed my ankles itching. So I stop and think, and I put 2 and 2 together, and I think, well, yeah, I was at this customer's house, so I used my skin cream. I have my stuff here, and I used it maybe for about 45 minutes off and on, kept applying it, and it all went away. Wonderful, great. That became a little blip. 20 years ago, it would have, who knows. And then I forgot about it. 4 days later, exactly 4 days later, the itch returned. And I realized that I had assumed that I was done with it. But while those organisms were there, they apparently laid eggs, and they had a 4-day thing. So I again used the products, and it went away just like that. And then about a week later, I noticed while I was in bed that I was feeling activity. So I suddenly realized I'm too lax about this, because the one thing that's very important is to be aggressive, and don't let your guard down, because you can pick these things up anywhere. You can pick them up in anybody's house. You can pick them up on an airplane, sitting in an airplane seat, or sitting out in the park, or anywhere. You can pick them up. Gardening again. You can pick them up in your yard, perhaps. And you need to be aware. When you first start noticing the itching, you need to deal with it as soon as possible. And then you don't get lax like I did. You need to keep dealing with it day after day after day for at least a week, unless you want to go through my ups and downs that I went through the last couple of weeks.
So you're saying that, like, go back on the diet temporarily?
No, I didn't go back. I have the parasite stop formula here, and the problems I was having, I had no problem during the day. I just had problems in the evening. When I went to bed, I sprayed my mattress with ammonia, my sheets, and so forth, and I took 2 parasite stop formula capsules, and that was it. Slept through the night, and so I don't need the parasite stop formula anymore, but I am disinfecting my sheets every night for the next week. I'm not going to let them go.
Okay.
So thank you. Hope I answered your question.
Well, my other part to that question was that I got I was originally diagnosed in 2015. Took about a year to get it under control. With all your suggestions and the diet and such. And then I finally went off of Abilify, if I can say that on this call.
Yeah, Abilify, it's a medication. Your doctor prescribed it.
I was on a couple of medications, went off of them, but stayed on the Abilify. 6 months, so I was on Abilify for a couple of years. About 6 months after being off of the Abilify, the Collembola came back. I don't know if it had any correlation or not, but then once I started up with the diet again, the disinfecting of everything, the skin cleaning, and the Abilify, it's all gone away again for the last year. So I'm I can eat whatever I want. I don't have to, wash the sheets every day and that kind of thing. But I'm still on the Abilify, and I'm a little leery about going off of it.
Well, that's between you and your doctor and your own thing here. The reasons why the reoccurrence comes is either you have been someplace where they are in the environment and you pick them up again, like I was at my customer's home, or you got too lax in your diet and you had, for instance, I remember a few years ago, I had, my wife was bringing home watermelon, and we ate watermelon for 7 days straight. And because of that, I got a reactivation of the Collembola. I didn't learn my lesson. Then I did strawberries for a few days straight, and a year later, and again, there was reoccurrence. I didn't have to go back on the diet to be strict. For me, it was just use the parasite stop formula and for a couple of days and got things back under control.
Okay.
So. Okay. Collembola is going to be coming and going in our lives. You just need to be aware of it at first, and then check out what you might have done to either have it reoccur or activated, or where you might have been. So those are the two things you need to look at. Where were you that you might have contracted it, or what you might have done with your diet in terms of having abused it.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Who's next?
And 3940.
Hi.
Hello, that's me again. I had a question. You know, Robin had suggested that we switch, and it's right along what we've been talking about. She suggested that we switch to those cheap plastic mattress covers that they really help, but the only problem is, I have to wash mine like every 2 or 3 days, and they really wear down fast. And
it's not a mattress cover; it's a zippered vinyl complete mattress cover.
Exactly, that's right. That's what I use. So anyhow, they really wear down fast.
You shouldn't be washing them. You just spray them with like an enzyme cleaner or a disinfectant and wipe them off.
Don't wash them.
Don't wash them.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll still...
When I want it really helps to wash them, but they wear down fast.
Well, you don't need to wash them. You really don't. You just need to wipe them down.
Okay, I'll do that then. That was my question.
Okay, thank you. Who's next?
Carnilla, 6916.
Hi, Camilla.
Carnilla.
Hello? Carnilla, hi. We spoke earlier today. Hello? She's from Texas. Are you on the call? Okay, who's next? Hello?
You might need to 6.
Star 6? Well, he opened it. Huh.
Your line is open.
Hello?
Yes, Shannon, you muted yourself, so you need to unmute yourself. Shannon, 7704.
Shannon, 7704. Hello?
Hi.
Okay, you're unmuted.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. Hey, I was on the call last week. And you guys recommended with my, I told you that I have this in my oven, my refrigerator, my dishwasher, and the bleach, and that is amazing what comes in. Are they attracted to the bleach? Is that why they go in there?
Oh, you're talking about the traps?
Yeah, the traps.
Traps. Mary, you want to answer that?
Sure.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I think they're attracted to like liquid, to water. But also, if the bleach doesn't work, then switch to ammonia. It all depends on the parasites that you have, because I think bleach kills some of them and ammonia kills other ones.
Yeah, the bleach, it blows me away how it works. Well, I can't believe what comes out of the environment in those in my oven. And I was grateful for that because, nothing else has really helped me. And my other question, I mean, this is kind of...
Sharon, before we go on, let's fill in the rest of our viewers or listeners. Sharon is talking about the traps that I talked about earlier in part 1, that these organisms are capable of eating through metal and cans and things and ceramics, and they can be anywhere. And so in one of the previous meetings, we talked about setting traps, and Sharon is talking about her experience in setting traps to eliminate these organisms. Okay, go ahead, Sharon.
Well, anyway, Shannon said...
Shannon, I'm sorry.
Totally fine. Well, the other thing is, I don't know how you can help me on this one, but I mentioned this last week. Like my shampoo, I think I'm doing really, my body's good. I know it's environmental, but yeah, all my shampoos or conditioners, I'm like, they're sticky, and I'm thinking, what is that? I've thrown them away. I mean, because I feel like the reason I'm not getting rid of them is because I've been using them, and then I'm like, why is it so sticky? Shampoo shouldn't be sticky. No.
What kind of shampoo are you using?
Well, I have a few different ones I'm using, but I use fragrance-free shampoos. I mean, I've tried different ones, yeah. And I can't have anything with fragrance.
Well, I can't. I can't speak to how these organisms will affect other shampoos. I don't. What?
tried them all, and the bar soap has been my everything because you can tell it gets a little like red on there, and I just scrape it off. I think that's some kind of a mold or something overnight. But the bar soap is just it's the safest thing for me to use because you can kind of peel off the problem.
So are you talking about our bar soap or some other?
Yeah, the mineral bar soap.
Our mineral bar soap with the lavender,
yeah.
Sure. Uh-huh.
So, no, that's not the one I know. It has no fragrance in it. So maybe
you use the unscented. Okay.
Yeah, and that's my saving grace.
Anyway. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, but I'm just blown away about this stuff gets into everything. It's my house. I think I'm so good in a way, but it's just my environment, So anyway, that's my little problem, and I just wanted to share that. So.
Great. So, yeah, you focusing on the environment. You may consider at some point the electrostatic sprayer or enzyme clean 'em up zymes. If spraying ammonia, I mean, the inexpensive ways of dealing with the environment. The number one is simply use ammonia and spray it. Number two, get something like Garden Safe Fungicide 3. That would be a little more expensive than ammonia, perhaps, but it could be very effective. And then you step up to what we have in the store, which would be the enzymes and Benefect and other stuff.
Okay.
Well, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
0922, Karen.
Oh, no, I'm very good. I'm good. Thank you.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I have a question about, I have to say, I'm a registered nurse, and I was on many, many, many different antibiotics, topically and orally. And I shared with you that I was on Cipro for 2 years. So my intestines are a mess. But I'm very leery about medications that are pharmaceutical. And the lufenuron is pharmaceutical, right?
Well, it's probably the safe, according to Dr. Luna, it has no interaction with any other medication. It has no side effects. Not to say that you won't get die-off, but it has no known side effects. So, to me, it sounds like the safest medication that you could ever have.
Huh. So, where do I find that written up?
Well, you can go to this website. You have paper and pencil?
Yes, I do now. Yes.
Okay. Shop. SHOP. The number 4. Morgellons.com. MORGELLONS.com.
Got it.
Shopformorgellons.com. There, they have the lufenuron, the fenben. I don't ever recommend ivermectin for anything unless you're dealing with strongyloides or scabies. Okay.
Another question.
Sure.
Have you had anyone try DMSO?
Well, yes. Some people report DMSO is beneficial and helpful.
Really?
Okay. In fact, I have some of it sitting next to my bed, but it's been sitting there for about 10 years. If I had the choice between, we don't have it in the store. I guess we could carry it there, but I think our Super MSM gel is probably top notch of anything that you're ever going to get in terms of handling any skin issue.
All right. I know you can take DMSO orally.
Right, you can.
Yeah, because I'm dabbling in it because of the idea of medications. I'm just so.
Yeah, there are so many things that you can do. Like you look at what we're doing. Like dealing with Morgellons is like a tree. The diet is the trunk of the tree, and there are many, many limbs, and the book goes into many of those limbs. And in the store, in my recommendations, I kind of like to narrow it down so that you don't think you have to get 1,000. You know, you go to a dietitian and you walk out with about 30 jars of different vitamins. I don't like that. I like to narrow things down. So we used to have milk thistle in the store. Milk thistle is a great anti-inflammatory. But glutathione does all of that. And we have, options with how to get glutathione. Then, I don't know where the banging is coming from.
I don't either. Yeah, weird.
Okay. One protocol that deals with Morgellons goes the route of SOD. SOD. It's a anti-inflammatory, and it's good to go that route. But again, I go the route of glutathione. Glutathione does so much more. So I don't list all of the limbs in our store, and you certainly can try them out, but the ones that I have in our store I think are the most effective and efficacious and will get the job done.
Yeah. Okay.
Richard, can I make a comment, please?
Sure.
This is Mary, and I have two genetic disorders that work against each other. One is a connective tissue disorder, and one is an immune disorder, not autoimmune, but immune. And I am reactive to almost everything. I mean, I can't eat pork because they feed the pig gluten, and then I actually react to the pork because of the gluten they've been fed. So my system is just so sensitive, and I have leaky gut and all that other stuff, but I have never, ever had a problem taking the lufenuron.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Good to know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thing? Anything else I can help you with?
No, I think you've answered my questions. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're most welcome. It's an honor to be of service to all of you.
This is Raylene.
Yes. Hi, Raylene. Yes. Hi. Raylene?
Yes, and I wanted to speak to the lady that talked about a couple people ago, I mean. She talked about sticky soap, and my coach and I are dealing with sticky soap right now. And we are pulling biofilm out of our body, and I'm so excited right now because my biofilm is dripping off my body. And what we've have come to understand is that this biofilm is protecting the bugs and keeping our immune system from disposing of them. So I just want to let that woman know that sticky soap is fantastic. When you get sticky soap, sticky, greasy soap, when your mineral bar gets so greasy that it doesn't wash off with water, that is the biofilm coming out of your skin. And I'm just elated that I'm at that stage right now. So I just wanted to let her know that it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing.
I think that she was talking about the liquid soaps being sticky, not on her skin, but being sticky themselves. I don't know. Well, anyway, thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's almost
now. Raylene, are you using our kinase enzymes?
That is the pill form? Yes.
Yes, the capsules, kinase enzymes.
Oh, not right now. I'm out, and I think you were out last time I tried to order.
We got them back in. For the most part, we have them in. But occasionally, we do run out. Kinase enzymes are specifically designed to deal with biofilm, to reduce biofilm. So
yes, and I'm taking. My doctor gave me a enzyme right now that I'm taking. So I'm doing what my doctor has suggested.
Did you check the ingredients? Are the ingredients listed on what your doctor gave you?
Yes.
And you checked them to make sure there's no glycerin or anything in there, or polypropylene or anything like that?
Not specifically those things. I didn't
Well,
look at those specific.
You want to check and make sure they're compatible with the diet. Just because the doctor gave them doesn't mean they're going to be compatible.
Okay, glycerin and
Polypropylene, there could be other things in there, but they're just two of the things that sometimes pop up.
Uh-huh. And so that will negate the diet?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Good to know. Good to know.
Okay. Who's next, Chris?
We're done, Richard.
All right, that's it then. Robin, you have anything to add?
No, I don't. This has been a really good call, though.
Sharon, anything to add?
Hello, Caitlin. Hey, shut up, Sharon. I'm going to battle you on this. I have one quick question.
Yes.
Wait, Sharon. Okay, one quick thing. When you, oh boy, I'm going to forget the question because I had to filter. Okay, I'm trying my best. Oh, I know what it is. Robin, when you use menthol crystals, like you put your purse or your whatever when you come home, you stick your whatever into the bag of menthol crystals.
No.
Yeah.
No, I have a little bag of menthol crystals
What?
that I put in a bag with my stuff, but I don't put the stuff directly in contact.
Right. So how do you do that? You put the menthol crystals in the...
So I have these little, like, gift bags for weddings and parties. They're gauze. I put the menthol crystals in that so that, you know, it can get through the air. And then I would use, like, a Ziploc plastic bag and put whatever I'm storing in the plastic bag into a little bag of menthol crystals.
And you can, like, leave it just overnight.
You can leave it as long as you want. I wouldn't
but
do
wait
it
a minute.
with eyeglasses because menthol crystals are poison, and if you do put something that you're going to put on your face, you're going to be breathing it in, and it's going to be bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if I were to take my set of keys, you say, I come in the house, I put the, you don't want the menthol crystals touching this stuff.
Well, I mean, it may touch it through the bag, but they're not, like, sitting in them. They're next to them. I put a bag of menthol crystals in my purse, and everything in my purse gets affected by it.
Wow.
Fine. And I haven't had anything come into my purse that shouldn't be there.
That's nice.
Yeah,
so when you put the bag...
You also just take an enzyme cleaner and wipe down your keys occasionally.
Yeah, I do that. I do. I
mean, I have menthol crystals in every drawer and every closet.
I bet you do. And I want to do that too. Well, I want to do that too. But my little question is that, so if you put them in your drawer, they should be in like a container that they're not touching everything.
Right. Like, I mean, on Amazon, you can buy something like 500 little gift bags for like, I don't know.
Oh, well, those are like net.
100. I get them by the 100.
Well, are they net?
They're like gauze. So the
what? Finer. Okay, I get it. But anyway, so then one little question, my biggest question. When you take your, say, whatever out of the drawer that's been sitting with it, do you wipe it off or can you just touch it with your bare hand?
Well, it depends what it is. I mean, I don't bother. Well, so I have these in my drawers, but then my clothes are still in Ziploc bags in the drawer.
Really? Okay.
I'm OCD about this.
That's what I am too.
So I understand. I don't put loose things in drawers. I mean, in the kitchen.
No, and I get it. I do. I get it.
In the kitchen,
so I'm kind of the same way.
I'll put them on the shelf where there's dishes, and I'll put them in drawers with silverware and stuff. But they're not close to it. They're not actually touching anything. They're just in the drawers and shelves, and so and I don't even necessarily wipe everything off. I mean, if I take something out and it smells, I'll wipe it off. But
you take what? Say that again, please.
And
But
I'll put them
how
in
do you
shoes
wipe?
when I'm storing shoes or boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use
But
them
then
everywhere.
so you probably put it in the nutty stuff and you stick the nutty stuff inside the shoe.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. And then but when you take the shoe out to use it again, just saying out of
I put
my curiosity.
I put the menthol crystals in a Ziploc bag to store till I'm going to use them again.
Well, that's fine, but what do you do about the item that you took out that was near it?
Nothing. I don't do anything about it.
You just touch it. It doesn't matter.
Right. Right.
Okay, there was my big problem.
If you put menthol crystals in a car, like on the carpet, it can, even
Yeah.
if it's in a bag, it can eat a hole in the
What?
carpet.
Oh, I lost it. Wait, say it again. I'm sorry. Repeat.
You take a little bag of menthol crystals that's, gauzy, and put it on a carpet on the floor of a car. Eventually, it'll eat a hole in the carpet.
Uh-oh. Well, that's not so good.
But if you put it just in, like, the plastic cup holder, it's fine.
Well, but
Okay.
it's airborne. I would say it's airborne. I guess they're airborne.
Well, yeah.
They must be airborne.
You're breathing it. That's why, yeah.
What?
Menthol.
Well, I don't know shit about them. I never heard of them until like a couple of years ago.
Well,
I don't know what they are.
Have you ever used, like, Vicks VapoRub? It's menthol.
Yeah, I put it on my shoes. I put it on my shoes when I walk outside now.
Right. Well, this is better than that.
Well, I think it's pretty powerful, is what I would guess.
Looks like we're going to have to have a... Looks like we're going to have to
I
have a
better
call
hang up.
about
I'm sorry.
menthol
This is
crystals.
going to be a rub. I'm sorry. That's okay. It's all right. It's just that I just kind of wanted to know if I could take say a purse out of a bag that was with the menthol, and I could touch it, because it seems like poison almost.
I touch everything that I take out of those things.
You do what?
I don't have a problem touching anything. If it smells really strongly, I'll wipe it down.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
and wipe it down with what? What would you do?
Wipe it.
Or
What would you wipe it? What?
Windex.
Ammonia?
Windex.
Really?
Yeah.
A leather item?
Just a regular Windex bottle, spray bottle.
Okay, fine and dandy. I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. We've had a big date. I'm going to stop. I'm going to 86 myself. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mary, you have anything to add?
No, I don't. Just that it was a really good call, and I'm glad I was here this week.
Great. Great to have you back.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice voice, Mary.
That concludes this portion of the... Yeah, we missed you. That concludes this portion of the program. Welcome back, everybody. This is Richard Kuhns, author of How to Get Your Life Back from Morgellons, Chronic Lyme, and Other Skin Parasites, welcoming you to the program. This part of the program is about dealing with managing stress. And there are many ways of managing stress. And why we manage stress is because life is stressful enough. And along comes Morgellons and other skin parasites, and we get stressed out of our, we get stressed out. And the more you know about managing stress, the quicker you're going to get your life back. So, managing stress is super important. And we typically handle probably 4 or 5 different techniques that we share with you and practice every week. We do one of them. I think last week we did deep breathing. The week before we may have done tapping. And humor is a way of managing stress. So Robin has a few jokes for us. And you see, the idea, the goal, is to shift the vibrations. Because when you're stressed out, you may be feeling down, depressed, not too optimistic, a little more pessimistic than optimistic. And that's a vibration. And your body mirrors that vibration. That vibration is throughout your entire body. Every cell is mirrored by it. That's the last place you want to be. When you catch yourself in that position, you want to move out of it. And that's what these techniques are about. A good joke can help you move out and see things differently. So, what do you have for joke time?
So I found a few jokes that I liked. Of course, you know, I have a kind of a strange sense of humor. But
I like your jokes.
Okay, well, a couple of these are a little like this first one. I had to read it twice before I got it, but I think it's kind of cute. So this is just a sentence. It says, I ordered a chicken and egg from Amazon. I'll let you know. Lady, so which comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Okay, you got me.
No, but that's what this joke is. If you know that nobody knows which comes first, the chicken or the egg, then someone says to you, I ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon. I'll let you know.
I get it. Now, which one comes first? I thought they were coming together.
No.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was a little... Okay, here's another chicken joke. I used to run a dating service for chickens, but I was struggling to make hens meet.
But I thought the hens would want to meet the roosters, not the hens. Okay.
My wife told me to stop acting like a flamingo, so I had to put my foot down.
That's cute.
That's cute. What do you call a pudgy psychic?
A pudgy psychic. All right, you got me.
A fortune teller.
A fortune teller. Okay.
What do you call a crocodile wearing a vest?
Okay.
I like this one. An investigator.
You got it.
All right. Got any more?
Yeah. What did the T-Rex say to the Velociraptor?
What did T-Rex say to the Velociraptor? What did he say?
Nothing. They're extinct.
Oh. I like the alligator one better.
That's the kind of joke my 4-year-old would have gotten. What has 4 wheels and flies?
4 wheels and flies. Not the alligator.
No, that's the alligator. Garbage truck.
Average what?
What has
garbage truck?
Yeah, garbage truck.
Oh, okay.
4 wheels and flies. So, yeah, I mean...
Those kind of flies. Midges. Morgellons bugs.
I know, really. So, these aren't necessarily the funniest. Oh, how did the pig get to the hospital?
How did the pig get to the
hospital?
Hogs?
It's a hospital for hogs. Hospital. How did
the pigs get to the hospital? Okay. How?
In a ambulance.
Now.
Ambulance.
I love corny jokes. What can I say?
They're cute. Okay. Well, thank you. I hope everybody's vibrations have shifted a little bit and enjoyed the humor. So,
annoyed.
What?
I hope it didn't annoy someone and shift your vibrations the wrong way.
No, I'm sure. Okay, that concludes this portion of the program.